over the weekend, we had No Kings, and it was reportedly the largest protest in American history.
Hell yeah. Hashtag resistance, brother.
Shouts out to that. I think what are people saying? Like 7 million people showed out?
Yeah.
There was a huge showing out in Michigan. There's a lot of stuff. People are saying it was like one of the biggest days for ballot petitions as well. But the ballot petitions are very focused.
Oh, yeah.
The ballot petitions are something where you go out and you sign it, and you're signing for a thing that you want to see specifically. No Kings is not.
Yeah, I do. I've been sort of going back and forth about this in my own mind. And I do think the best part of No Kings is the opportunity that grassroots groups have to like get out there.
Yeah, and that's what we saw with like record signatures on ballot petitions.
Yeah, I think that's like the best part of these style of events. But other than that, it's like there really isn't a positive vision, and that does kind of worry me.
Yeah, and it's like I don't want to do the like internet leftist thing of like shitting on No Kings, because it's like when you have what is literally a historic protest, or I guess literally a historic turnout for a protest, that means something. Like it does mean something that 7 million people, whether or not they're all old white people who made signs in their basement, corny signs, albeit, showed up to like actually say that they don't like what's going on. It's resistance. Like it means something.
Yeah, and it's cool. It's like camaraderie, it's unity, it's solidarity. Like that's all good stuff.
Exactly.
I just worry about like the sort of broader decentralization and lack of a surefire direction, because like with the BLM protests, those were a lot more focused actually. Like it was clear what those were about, and there was a lot of people, but I feel like what got in the way of BLM really being successful, two things. One, the Democrats co-opted it and then did nothing for the movement. And two, it was so decentralized that like there wasn't a body that could continue to push on elected leaders to actually get done what was necessary to resolve the issue, which was, defund the police and all that kind of stuff. So I don't know. I worry about effectiveness, and I worry that because the No Kings protests are just like anti, right? They're just like negative, like we're anti-Trump. I just worry about like success.
Well, because it's like in a way it like almost like kind of feels emblematic of what the Democrats are and have been since Trump took office in 2016. And it's just we're not Trump. Like the protest is very much just we don't like Donald Trump. And that's kind of it. You go and talk to the people at the protest. Some of them are very progressive. Some of them are very fucking libbed out. Shout out the libbed out ones.
Libbed out, man. Hey, sometimes you got to be libbed out.
Sometimes you got to live out
Sometimes you got to live out.
Sometimes you got to live out a little bit, and that's okay. And it's just like the Democrats have also just been a body that have been running on not being Trump. And that's not something that really has worked for them in the long term. And it doesn't work for them when Trump's not actively doing really bad things right now. So that's where my worry comes out, like when it comes to like a movement, because it's not a movement that's built on any like positive goal. It's just a movement built on everything sucks right now, and it's entirely true that everything sucks right now.
And that's valid, and like it might work like for the midterms if we have elections, of course, and if those elections are, if they have integrity, it might work to just be anti-Trump, because I think a lot of people are being reminded how fucking chaotic life is under a Trump administration. But I worry for like long-term success, and I worry that like we're just doing a sort of return to status quo politics that got us into this mess in the first place.
Because it's like we're trying to look forward, right? Like you have once again a protest that was the biggest in American history. You want to harness that momentum into something, and right now it doesn't feel like there's anything to put that momentum into other than Trump out of office. Yeah,
can't we just like establish that like maybe Medicare for all or something is like the thing we're trying to accomplish here? I don't know.
Like that'd be cool if there were policy goals associated with it.
Yeah, like I know there's no pressuring this government to like do anything good.
Yeah,
like that like protest isn't going to work to actually do that. But it would be good for like there to be substantive items on the list, because I don't even know that everyone would agree that like abolish ICE needs to be on the list, even though that's one of the more like sort of authoritarian things that Trump is doing right now. And
it's one of the more animating things that are getting people out there. Yeah. But again, it's like it's not a movement that has things. But this is a higher level critique. It's cool that people came out.
Yes,
it's cool
yes.
that a lot of like seemingly regular people are, I guess, tapping into politics and understanding that what's going on right now is low key, high key, unacceptable.
And the number's impressive. Like the number's impressive. The biggest protest like ever. That's crazy.
Like ever?
That's I think a thing to be proud of. So fucking shout out, I guess.
Yeah, shout out. That's cool. But another aspect of what happened with No Kings was there was obviously like you got to lib out every once in a while.
Gotta
7
live
million
out,
people libbed out.
Sometimes I lib out. Sometimes
I lib out too. Yeah, and it's cool. Sometimes I'll laugh at a sign.
We libbed out when Joe Biden dropped out and we got Kamala Harris. I'll admit it.
Exactly. Doug Emhoff notably libbed out when he was pictured with the sign that said if Kamala won, we'd be at brunch.
And that was unforgivable.
That's low key unforgivable.
We're reaching like cancerous levels of libbing out.
But I thought about it. And I'm like, I guess if you are Doug Emhoff, you're just a wife guy at that point. And
well, for him, it might be literally true.
For him, it's like, okay, yeah, you're a wife guy. I guess I have to rock with that. So I've kind of come around on that.
Yeah, because if Kamala was elected, Doug, as the first husband,
exactly,
wouldn't have really had anything to do.
True.
So I mean, he low-key would have been at brunch because he go, wake up at 11 and go eat.
Exactly, and that's cool. But that's like the liberal response to what's going on. The way that conservatives responded to No Kings really just like got me. And it really like stuck in my head because it's like on one hand, you had a lot of people going out and posting like AI pictures of Trump with a crown on and cheekily being like, haha, what if Trump was actually a king and a dictator to own the libs? Wouldn't that be so cool? And that's corny.
I can't stress how much he won by 1.5%.
Yes. Like the closest election in modern American history. He does not have a mandate. Like
closer than 2020, closer than 2016. Yeah.
He was not given the divine right to rule.
Yeah.
They act like this dude has the mandate of heaven. But I digress. There was that response. Then there was the Trump AI video.
Yep.
And if you didn't see the Trump AI video, Trump posted a video of himself hopping in like a jet that said King Trump on the side, dropping like actual shit poo-poo on protesters, the first one being Harry Sisson.
Look, I said it once, I'll say it again. If you are an elected politician beefing with an internet celebrity, you got it. Like, that's curtains, man. You got to call it off. Yeah, you got to be done. You got to go home. Get out of here.
Screw
That's
all
crazy.
the other stuff that Trump has done. That should be a high crime and misdemeanor. That should get you impeached. When you're focusing on internet guy with like 1 million followers.
Well, and at least when Cuomo calls out Hassan on the debate stage, at least we know there's like an actual connection there because Hassan did go hang out with Zoran, right?
Yeah.
Hassan does go to bat for Zoran. But for Trump to like know Harry Sisson...
Well, it's because it's a staffer that's beefing. It's got to be like one of his staffers that made the video and is beefing. But it's like it's a video of Trump flying a jet, dropping poo-poo on protesters.
But like we've established that when the president of the United States puts out like electronic communications on Twitter or Truth Social or whatever, like that those are like official communications.
Yeah.
There's been rulings about this.
That's going to be in like the presidential records.
So like Trump, for all intents and purposes, that was Donald Trump saying that. You know what I mean?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
And so it's like for Trump to beef with Harry Sisson,
the point stands.
The easiest dude to like ignore. That's crazy.
He really is the easiest dude to ignore as well. I ignore him all the time. I forgot about Harry Sisson. There was the Adam Friedland interview with Harry Sisson. That's when he spiked in my mind like a Google trend. And then it was seeing him in the Trump video, and I'm like, oh my God, is that Harry Sisson?
Yeah, but like the Adam Friedland interview is like we're making fun of him together.
Yeah.
I'm in on the joke.
Exactly.
I'm in on the joke.
Exactly. These are just the times the Google trends spiked in my mind, man. But that was nuts. And it's just like, I hate doing this because I guess, you know what? Actually, I'm going to live out for a second.
Hell yeah, brother.
It is embarrassing to see the president of the United States posting that. Like, it is embarrassing to see, like,
the office.
one of the most powerful people in the world post an AI video poo-pooing on protesters.
Yeah.
That's just, come on, man.
Yeah, and the right wing will call it, like, trolling or, like, oh, he's just trying to get the libs triggered. And, like, yeah, I guess it is, but it's also, like, can you, like, fix our roads or something?
To what extent?
Yeah.
Like this is what you're doing. This is what you're paying somebody to do at the very least, if not you doing it yourself.
Yeah.
Come on, man. But my favorite bit, even beyond the Trump video of like shitting on protests, the conservative response to No Kings, was all of the tweets that I saw that were conservatives saying, oh, look at all these people going out and protesting instead of watching college football. They're protesting on college football Saturday. That's un-American, my brother in Christ, dude.
Dude.
These people cannot fathom somebody believing in something to the point where they would inconvenience themselves.
Yeah.
They can't fathom people who actually like believe in things and want change. So they can't understand why someone would actually go out and, I don't know, speak out instead of watch college football.
No, yeah, they really struggle to imagine that, like, people might just not fuck with them.
Yeah.
Because we see it also when they say things like, oh, everyone there was Hamas, everyone there is paid by George Soros, everyone there is Antifa. It's like, no.
Caroline Leavitt went out and said that the Democratic Party's base is Hamas terrorists.
They, like, believe this.
Yeah.
Like, they can't fathom that maybe a large group of people in this country doesn't fuck with them. Like, I don't see Democrats ever act like this. When they see like a pro-Trump protest or rally or whatever, people aren't saying like, oh, they're all paid to be there. No, we know that people fuck with Trump.
Yeah.
But when it comes to us protesting Trump, the right goes, oh, it must not be real. It's got to be astroturfed. Like, what are we talking
It's
about?
like the college football comparison. It's like, and making like generalizations about who is and is not American based on that is so funny, because it's like the conservatives, the people who signal about like traditional values and whatnot, are out here watching TV instead of protesting something that's profoundly American. And it's the liberals that are tapping into the great American tradition. Like, what's going on? You never see liberals going out here being like, I can't believe these conservatives are protesting during Steven Universe. Like, come on.
Yeah, I know we've been libbing out, but to get back on my anti-lib shit, the city of Ann Arbor, obviously there was the U of M football game.
Yeah.
I will say it feels a little bit unserious to plan your protest around the football game, the college football game, because it was like 9:30 to 12, so people could go. Like, that feels a little like, oh, you say that we're facing down like monarchy, fascism, whatever the libs want to call it. But we still got to go to the football game, though.
And that's where conservatives are low-key right when they're like, no, it is more American to do this, because this is clearly where their priorities lie.
Yeah.
Clearly our priorities lie around the financial institution that is college football.
Yeah, that doesn't feel too good to me. But I will say, for the most part, that like, I'm glad it happened. I'm glad people are showing up. It's a show of force. I just hope we can use the energy for something.
In Ann Arbor, fake woke city.
Fake woke, exactly.
Fake woke city.
Welcome back to the #1 corked up white boy podcast.
Yes, sir.
That just happens to be located in the Midwest. It's Head in the Office.
It's Head in the Office. Come on, guys. You know where you are.
Today is Monday, October 20th. Today we'll be talking about George Santos. He's free.
They freed my man.
For some goddamn reason. We got more ceasefire news. The ceasefire, not great.
Not great, guys. It's like holding even more shakily now.
Yeah, and a lot of this episode will be sort of like tidbits. There wasn't a ton of like major news this week. Government still shut down, of course, but we got some bits and pieces here and there to talk about.
It didn't feel like there was like a big story, like ICE doing something evil. They're just doing the regular evils that they get away with all the time. And that's just kind of that.
The judicial system, low-key locking in against ICE.
It's holding up. Yeah. Like, it waxes and wanes with how the judicial system holds up. There are brief periods where I'm judge pilled, I'm court maxed. and then all of a sudden, like 2 weeks or 2 months later, all of a sudden it's like, why do we have this anymore? Because they're not doing anything.
The highs and lows of institutionalized justice, dude. What is going on? Anyway, lots to talk about this episode, but before we get into it, I'll remind you, I'll become a patron.
Come on, guys, please.
It's light work.
Please, I'm begging. I'm here on my hands and knees.
It's light work. You can support something that you can support an operation that's independent media, not mainstream media, and we would much appreciate it. And you get early access to all the episodes and postcard program.
It's cool. Those are going out this week. I've been low-key slacking on getting those out in the mail this time, but it's not my fault.
It's not your fault, and you'll not only get a postcard but also a sticker.
Exactly.
So you're kind of getting two for the price of one. So I feel like maybe y'all should chill.
Exactly, and that's something to look forward to. And we're already cooking up ideas for the second sticker. You would know if you were one of the beautiful Hittoheads that showed out to our Michigan Sociological Conference event this Saturday. Shout out everybody, whether you came in from fucking Indiana, Chicago, or Ann Arbor.
Ooh, fake woke
City, Ann Arbor.
Fake woke city, yeah.
It was dope to see you guys.
Shout out to all the Hittoheads that showed up. Shout out to anybody that's listening because of our appearance.
Huge on that.
At the Michigan Sociological Association event. Very happy to have gone out, and I was glad to see some Hittoheads.
Exactly.
And you know what? I'm always thinking that like every stranger is just a future Hittohead. And
there are Hittoheads everywhere with people who the eyes to see.
Exactly. So I think we might have made some on Saturday. So shout out.
We were out evangelizing.
Yeah.
We put our money where our mouth is. And speaking of money where mouth is, if you don't have money to put it on the Patreon, the most enduring free way to support the show is leaving a 5-star review.
That's right.
Today we have 4 of which on Apple, starting with Tyler F. The best podcast to nourish your brain. A friend recommended me the show, and I am now fully addicted. We are both proud Midwesterners and condemn Hamas and all political violence. In a time where most media sources exhibit a right-wing bias and ignore obvious facts, these guys give you the true and expert analysis. I was a poli-sci major, and still I learned something every episode. Also, top-tier internet lingo knowledge. My Gen Z very appreciates it. We have some older listeners that don't know what that is sometimes.
So when we say things like heavy on that.
Or
court maxing.
Judge filled and court max.
This next one from Release Socks on Spotify. 5 out of 5. Now. Hey boys, I've been listening since the gay Nutcracker episode and have not missed an episode since. I'm a patron and Spotify member, but decided to use my free 3 months on Apple to leave a real review before canceling my membership.
Let's go.
Thank you for making me laugh during work and on car rides. Also, my favorite musician, Rusty Clanton, follows you guys. It's amazing to see your guys' reach. I also recommend checking out his music. Keep up the good work.
And that's something we'll try to do. This next one from Chef Mac, Light in the Dark. First things first, all political violence and Hamas fully and wholeheartedly condemned. Being trapped in the red swamp that is the state of Florida, these two quirked up white boys are a welcome respite from the constant glazing of the current administration I am subject to on a daily basis. Head in the Office is genuinely one of the best, and my personal favorite, tertiary geopolitical news source out there. If you are looking for banger after banger of political opinions, then Jeremy and Gage should be your first and only stop. I have recently started to share the Hiddo gospel to my coworkers and have already helped create several new Hiddo heads. Please keep up the phenomenal work reminding everyone that good things are good and bad things are bad, and that we will.
I've been saying this for a minute, and I feel like just nobody notices. This last one from Alley Cat Meow, politics for normal people. I condemn Hamas, all forms of political violence, and normally a white man with a microphone. But these two white boys never miss. They give clear, important information in a very easy to digest format. There is no holier than thou mindset when talking, unlike some other political podcasters from a previous administration. And politicians are called out as individuals for how they participate in their respective parties. No excuses made just because it's the party line. 100 out of 5 stars. Love you, cuties, with the heart emoji.
Huge on this one. And, you know, before we get into the news, I do have to issue an apology, a correction.
Okay.
Last week when we were talking about the Pentagon, I mixed up Newsmax and OAN.
Oh, my God.
I said that OAN stood on business and didn't sign on to the new reporting rules, but Newsmax did. I mixed them up.
How dare you disrespect the integrity of Newsmax?
How dare I disrespect the integrity of two outlets that came about just because they wanted to be more far right than Fox News? How dare I mix those two things up?
They're virtually the same, but like there's a key difference now.
No, yeah, exactly. Up until now, they've been the same thing.
Only one of them has access to the Pentagon. So keep that in mind.
And that one is OAN.
Yeah, exactly.
As I was corrected into saying, but I'm incredibly sorry for that mix-up. Forgive me for mixing up, I don't know, two things that are almost the same.
Before we get into the episode, I'll let you all know that on this Thursday/Friday, Thursday for the Thursday Thought Leaders, Friday for the Friday Freeloaders, the second episode of this week will be an interview that we did.
Yeah, it's a pretty good one.
I know you guys don't like interviews. Don't get mad at us.
But I promise this one's actually really cool.
This one I thought was really good, so make sure you check it out. It's all about money and politics and how we might get it out and what the world might look like if we do.
And, like, hear me out. It's actually, like, really nice. It's about money and politics. There's, like, dives into, like, how DTE absolutely is, like, evil in Michigan. If you don't know, DTE, monopoly utility.
Yeah.
It's a good episode, guys. Please listen.
Yeah, so make sure you check that out. That will be dropping Thursday for our patrons, Friday for everybody else. That's the second episode of this week. Don't be mad. You have to promise you won't be mad.
Please watch it.
Please don't tell news that you're mad. It's important. Getting into the news, though, on this episode, George Santos.
They freed my man.
They freed him. He spent 3 months in prison and now he's free.
This is something I've been on for a while. What happened to George Santos was unfair.
It's not wrong to steal from Republicans.
Exactly, and he's Robin Hood.
Yeah.
He didn't do anything wrong. He allegedly, I don't even know, but he got locked up. He got put in the slammer for what? Campaign finance violations, stealing identities, robbing people. That's right. Yeah. Identity theft, robbing people, campaign finance. But like, the people he was robbing and identities he was stealing were Republican donors.
Yeah, look, I mean, if our mantra is good things are good, bad things are bad, as the poster behind us says, then like we can't be mad at George Santos.
Exactly.
Because like on net, the ultimate utility of his actions, that's kind of net positive.
And if he took that money to go do like lavish vacations, it's like a utilitarian thing. Like we're increasing like good in the world. Because Republicans put money out there to do evil, to do wrong, ne'er-do-wells, go and fund these things. And George Santos took that and he transformed it into personal well-being, happiness, joy, perhaps joy for others when he gives a gift.
And he was kind of like low-key personally sick.
Yeah.
Like he's a funny guy.
Absolutely. And then he maybe perhaps even used some of that money to set up his podcast studio. And I'm a big supporter of my brothers in arms.
I would rather a Republican be stolen from and it go to George Santos getting like a giant fur coat.
Yeah.
Than a Republican donor's money going to like Mike Johnson.
Precisely.
You know what I mean? Because Mike Johnson will use it for evil. George Santos will use it for personal gain. and those neither of those are particularly good. But there is a difference.
Exactly. In a sort of utilitarian way.
So, bizarrely, shockingly, George Santos is free. This is not something I expected.
No, I didn't either.
Even a little bit. It was just sort of out of nowhere. Trump posts on Truth Social like, yeah, I'm letting this guy out.
What does he have to gain from this?
I don't know.
That's the thing that's like sticking in my head is why would Trump feel the need to pardon George Santos? What can George Santos give him?
It might just be that Trump fucks with him. And we'll get into his statement in a little bit, but for those that have forgotten, George Santos was sentenced to 7 years in prison for submitting false reports to the FEC, stealing personal and financial information of elderly and impaired donors, and using donation money for shit like the Venetian Hotel in Las Vegas.
That's so sick.
So it's basically everything we just did the bit about, but a court convicted him of these charges. He admitted in court that he did it, like the evidence was plain as day. And at the end of his trial, he said, quote, "I betrayed the confidence entrusted to me by constituents, donors, colleagues, and this court." He admitted to lying. He knowingly lied. He stole information. He committed the crime by his own account. And it's funny because still to this day in his Twitter bio is political prisoner, quote unquote, but he admitted to it.
Dude, that's so cool. But how do you know he was not coaxed into a false confession? I mean, we talk about the criminal justice system.
Just like the Central Park Five.
Precisely.
We're pushed into confessing.
Just like that guy in Making a Murderer, that Netflix show. I hope I'm getting the right one. That was popping a couple weeks ago. We talk about the criminal justice system all the time. I think it's unfair of us to think that it couldn't unfairly treat Republicans as well.
This is a good point.
This could have been a confession under coercion. He could have been doing this to get a plea deal. We have no idea, really.
Yeah, a plea deal where he spent 7 years in prison. But yeah, so George Santos admitted to this. We covered when he initially did it. It was out in the open. On top of that, he also lied about a million things.
Oh my
He said
God.
his mom died on 9/11. That just wasn't true. He said it was Jewish and then tried to correct it by saying he was Jewish. He was exposed for having done drag or something like that. Then he tried to deny it. Then it was proven. Tons of shit.
And then he said, "I was having fun in my 20s." It's so real. Pop off, King.
It's yeah, that's valid.
Yeah.
You don't gotta lie about it though. So this dude, chronic liar, chronic criminal, hilarious amount of crimes. And this is what Trump said. Trump has freed him now, of course. And I want to read the full Truth Social post. Rarely do we do this.
Okay.
Trump Truth Social posts are long and wordy and confusing, but I think this one's important.
Okay.
Because it's about George Santos, a man who did nothing wrong. So it says, quote, "George Santos was somewhat of a rogue, but there are many rogues throughout our country that aren't forced to serve 7 years in prison. I started to think that about George when the subject of Democrat Senator Richard Denang Blumenthal came up again." I don't know what this is in reference to. As everyone remembers, Denang stated for almost 20 years that he was a proud Vietnam veteran, having endured the worst of the war, watching the wounded and dead as he raced up hills and down the valleys, blood streaming from his face. He was a great hero. He would leak to any and all who would listen, and then it happened. He was a complete and total fraud. He never went to Vietnam. He never saw Vietnam. He never experienced the battles there or anywhere else. His war hero status and even minimal service in our military was totally and completely made up. This is far worse than what George Santos did. And at least Santos had the courage, conviction, and intelligence to always vote Republican."
That's so good. That's so gas, dude.
"George has been in solitary confinement for long stretches of time and by all accounts has been horribly mistreated. Therefore, I just signed a commutation releasing George Santos from prison immediately. Good luck, George. Have a great life."
Dude, that's so sick. That's so cool, actually. And he's comparing this all to just stolen valor.
Yes.
It's just the not crime of doing stolen valor.
Yeah, it's just a shitty thing to do.
It's just a taboo.
Trump's rationale for freeing George Santos is, one, he's a loyal Republican, and also fuck Richard Blumenthal.
That's so cool, dude. Does he not also realize that once again, George Santos lied about a whole host of things? Mm-hmm. George Santos lied about being personally affected by 9/11.
Yeah, having a family, claiming you had a family member die on 9/11 and it didn't actually happen feels like a kind of stolen valor, right?
Yeah.
That's
that
crazy.
Loki feels worse.
Honestly,
feels actually insane.
Lying about your military record or lack thereof, that's bad. Obviously, don't do that.
Yeah.
But that's not grounds to free somebody else from a crime they committed independently.
And it's just lying in the way that lying is bad.
Yeah.
It's not a super special kind of lie.
Yeah.
And it's so sick that this is being compared to stolen valor too, because respectfully, if George Santos was found not guilty of stealing from Republican donors, but there were claims he did, I would say that's kind of a stolen valor. Yeah. Because that's cool.
Yeah, no, that's a cool and objectively good thing to do.
He's I'm stealing from the rich to give to the poor, and then he actually didn't steal from anybody.
I think it's so funny how Trump just pardons the most obviously corrupt people ever.
Yeah.
Or the people who most obviously committed the crime.
Yeah.
And I get that part of the presidential pardon power is to commute sentences or pardon people, even if they did commit the crime, because you think there's some like broader injustice, right? Or
It's supposed to be a check on the judicial branch. It's supposed to be a check on the courts.
But like when we're talking about a guy who pardoned like all the January 6th rioters, like I don't know, man.
Yeah.
I feel like all credibility's out the window.
It seems a little nuts, but like the pardon power just seems to get used almost always for immensely evil ends.
Yeah. I mean, Joe Biden pardoned some people that like needed it, but then he also pardoned his son.
Yeah, and he also pardoned like what wasn't it some guy who like did the biggest,
some evil people.
He pardoned some guy who did like the biggest instance of like one form of fraud in history.
Yeah, he also pardoned the guy who did like the not pay to play, but it was like pay for kids or some shit.
Huh?
Like he got kickbacks for sending kids
for
to
adoption
juvie.
scheme.
It
was a
juvie,
judge. Yeah.
It was a judge who got kickbacks for sending kids to juvenile detention.
Like why? Why are we doing this? And then did Trump not pardon like a bunch of Blackwater guys in his first term?
I think he did, yeah.
Yeah. So that's like
Shout out Graham Platner.
We'll get to him later. More on that later.
Anyway, speaking of like war crimes and bad people in the military.
Yeah, it's time to talk a little bit about Gaza, man.
Yeesh.
It's just like the ceasefire is still somehow holding, and like aside from the things we covered last week, the couple people on both sides that had shown up dead, and the violence that had been happening, and what may or may not have been violations of the ceasefire. Then apparently on Sunday, we had our first major test of the ceasefire plan, as is being reported by mainstream news outlets like CNN, AP, and whatnot. Basically what happened was 2 IDF soldiers were killed, allegedly by Hamas. Then Israel started briefly bombing Gaza again, killing 44 people in airstrikes.
Yeah, let me know if you see like an imbalance here.
Yeah. Let me know if something's like fucked about this ratio or not. I can't quite put my finger on it. I wouldn't want to pass moral judgment on what happened.
Israel says that like everyone in Gaza is Hamas. So like anybody who does anything potentially violent is Hamas. Let's even say that like Hamas did kill these 2 IDF soldiers, right? Violation of the ceasefire,
which is like
whatever.
Likely that it could happen.
Maybe.
I'm not saying that.
Right, maybe. But then you kill 44 civilians?
Like what?
Like I'm sorry, but like there's like a disproportionate nature to this response that I feel flies in the face of like any kind of agreement to make the fire cease.
Yeah, it's such a like overreaction. It's such a blatant just like lashing out that underscores the idea that neither of these people were ready for a ceasefire. Mm-hmm. As the Qatari prime minister, a key negotiator, said, none of these groups were not ready to like come to this agreement. The terms would not have been the same. Like they clearly don't like want this.
Yeah, and we know that Israel has a track record of acting shitty during ceasefires, like between other nations as well.
Yes.
Like they'll just drop some extra bombs on their way out just for fun right before the ceasefire starts. And it's like they're just trying to maximize the number of people they hurt or kill, and that's evil.
None of this is like a principled move towards peace.
Yeah.
You don't lash out this violently if you actually want to stop fighting. Mm-hmm. At least that's what it feels like to me. So that sucks really bad. As a result of this, in this brief break in the ceasefire, Israel announced it was going to stop letting aid in, but then quickly...
Again, what do we do? Like, okay, 2 Hamas guys do something bad, break the ceasefire. Okay, like if it is Hamas guys, right?
Starve 1.9 million people.
Yeah, let's just start starving them all. What are we doing?
Yeah, it's fucked up. Like, it's just, there is such a massive imbalance on who can seemingly do the most harm and who will go to the lengths to like do crazy amounts of harm here, that it's like hard to take anything seriously. They then quickly reversed their decision, announcing a continuation of aid. So for a couple hours on Sunday, they're like, it's not happening. Then they cave to what I'm assuming is possibly pressure from negotiators.
I heard it was pressure from Washington. I'm not confident though.
Jared Kushner called up his friends.
I can imagine that someone from Trump's team is like, hey, don't fuck this up for us. You know what I mean? So I don't know. Maybe we'll give credit where credit's due, but still, like, it's not great.
And it does kind of speak to this idea that we got to, I want to say, like, in March of last year, when Joe Biden was doing the ceasefire thing, and then Netanyahu was like, I don't know what that guy's talking about. And he was getting Biden on the issue, and we're saying, like, clearly there isn't like principled negotiations happening.
Yeah.
Clearly Israel's negotiating in bad faith. Clearly we're not going to get to an agreement. I think we've been still like kind of vindicated in that idea. We were especially vindicated it during like everything that was going on under Biden in the first part of Trump. But it's like we said, a ceasefire can't be negotiated at this point. It needs to be imposed. Mm-hmm. And all of the ceasefire measures that seem to like work beyond an initial like hostage exchange where Israel gets what they want and then fuck off, are because they were imposed on Israel, is because the U.S. came in and imposed pressure. Either it was diplomatic pressure by saying, what the hell are you doing? You can't stop aid from going in because this happened, or anything else. What's worked was because it was made to happen, not because we let Israel go out there and negotiate while they're killing thousands of people.
Yeah, we could have imposed literally any condition on them at any point had Joe Biden actually wanted to.
It was like a fight to get Democratic senators to even consider conditioning aid, and still a lot of them won't even consider it.
And like, yeah, it's good that I think half the Democratic caucus in the Senate was willing to say like, hey, no more like arms embargo, no more offensive aid until they stop this bullshit. But it has to come from the president. The president's the one that sets foreign policy. The president controls the flow of power when it comes to the U.S. State Department. Like, it had to be Joe Biden that did it. He was unwilling to. Trump has been unwilling to so far, but now it seems his team is like, okay, stop, and Israel has to stop.
Exactly, and then they low-key chill and back off, because like, why else would they have switched up from this? Unless the U.S. came in and pressured them and be like, what the fuck are you doing?
Yeah.
We're working on this deal. I want my peace prize next year.
It also helps that like Israel's mostly getting whatever it wants. So that sort of sweetens the deal for Netanyahu and his team, except for Ben-Gvir, who
except for Ben-Gvir. Well, I have a quote from Ben-Gvir on the shutdown, on this like letting aid situation, and on the continuation of aid, Ben-Gvir said it was, quote, a shameful back down.
Oh, we're feeding kids. How awful.
How dare we go feed this population of people who mostly did nothing wrong?
Yeah, and I've seen a lot of people on the left sort of struggle to talk about Trump's role in this, and how like Republicans sort of have, not Republicans, but I guess it's just Trump's team has like gotten the W over the Democratic administration previously, right? Like it seems like if the ceasefire holds or goes anywhere, that Trump was the one to eventually stop the bloodshed, right? Put aside the fact that he continued it for 10 months, he and his team have overseen what might be the end of this conflict, and that's objectively a good thing. But I think, as Prem Thakar put it, a reporter for Zeteo, we don't have to kiss the feet of people that decided to just stop killing kids.
No, literally.
Like that is, I think, where I'm at now, is like, okay, I'm glad it's happening, but like, you don't get like a prize or a reward, or you shouldn't, for deciding to not kill children more.
Especially like a guy like Ben-Gvir, probably like the most evilest guy ever. One of the most evilest guys ever, should not be taken seriously, like respectfully. You can't tell me that it's a shameful back down to like feed a population of people who didn't do anything wrong in the hopes that maybe you also like starve a couple Hamas guys, maybe.
No, never translate a Ben-Gvir speech.
Exactly.
Never translate a Ben-Gvir speech.
That whole plan doesn't make sense, because it's like, if the allegation is that Hamas is hoarding aid, and they're hoarding aid anyway, you have to assume that they've already hoarded the aid. And so when you starve everyone, the people who didn't have aid hoarded, the civilians who didn't want to fucking do anything, are going to starve out first.
Well,
and Hamas is going to be the one that stays around.
They're going to starve out first, or they'll have to further capitulate or like surrender to Hamas, because Hamas has all the food.
Yeah, exactly.
If you flooded the Gaza Strip with food, then Hamas couldn't impose conditions of scarcity, even if they were doing that.
It seems like when you, like, I don't know, meet people's basic material needs, they don't feel as if they need to resort to radicalism and doing things that are otherwise, like, violent. Because
we got a Hamas terrorist over here.
What can I say? Because they have their, like, I don't know, day-to-day needs met, and they don't have to worry about that kind of thing. But when you force people into a desperate situation, they're going to take desperate measures, and they're going to support desperate means or desperate whatevers. It just kind of sucks. And I think that does kind of parlay us into this next bit. Well, after that whole kerfuffle, Hamas and Israel both reaffirmed their commitments to the ceasefire, obviously because there was pressure put on them. And then on Sunday, what's in relation to that broader point that I was just making, Hamas announced that it was targeting the hideout of an Israeli-backed militia that operates in the Strip. And sort of like on the militia situation writ large, which is like broadly like new to me, I haven't like read about this stuff before. In June, Israel confirmed that it was propping up these groups in an attempt to counter Hamas. So Israel's just going and funding violent gangs in the Strip to go and fight Hamas to help, I don't know, get rid of or loosen Hamas's grip on the territory. From CNN, quote, a Gaza expert at the European Council on Foreign Relations said these militias now operate from within Israeli-occupied areas in Gaza, from which they descend on the other half of Gaza, carry out attacks, then run back to those protected areas. So what this person is saying is that they're claiming that these IDF-backed militias, the IDF-backed gangs, are hiding out in like the buffer zone that the IDF is in, because Hamas can't go there or else they'll be killed, and it'll be a ceasefire violation. going out of that IDF protection to go, I don't know, attack Hamas or do anything, wreak havoc or whatever, then going back to protection, doing nothing. They're just doing like hit and runs on the
during
territory.
During
the ceasefire.
Like, how was that?
Like, letting this happen?
That is just like Israel conducting attacks through a proxy.
It's a proxy. They're just doing like a little mini proxy war.
Yeah.
And it's like, have we learned nothing in all of the things that we've tried to do ever in the Middle East that haven't worked out? That like this stuff doesn't work? When you fund groups to like go and resist this other group without any other like measures in place to, I don't know, stop a power vacuum, that these things could potentially backfire.
Yeah. Like Israel is doing with these gangs what we do with them.
Precisely.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We're funding proxies that, like, of course, the people around them are going to get angry at and fight back against.
Like, I just don't understand why anybody thinks that this shit works anymore.
Yeah.
Because it doesn't. And it's like,
the point for the Israeli government is to destabilize.
Of course.
Like, that's their goal. Like, it works for them because that's what they want.
You got Hamas because Netanyahu said, I'm going to allow Iran to traffic, like, money. I'm going to prop up Hamas in the territory because I don't want their opposition to win. And Hamas is perceived as an easier enemy to attack for Netanyahu. Mm-hmm. So he props up Hamas and does this. And now he's propping up another group in opposition to Hamas.
Yeah.
Are we not just going to possibly end up with Hamas too?
No, like, that's always going to be the result here.
Realistically, this doesn't seem like a principled way to actually, I don't know, have peace in the territory. It seems like, I don't know, maybe, hot take, the only principled way to actually have peace in this region is to stop the apartheid and allow people to like be chill and cool and have a nice time.
Hamas terrorists, as I said. Fucking Hamas terrorists over here.
What can I say, guys?
Hamas Antifa terrorists. Throw in whatever other keywords you can think of.
Yeah, so it's just Israel low-key doing mini proxy wars, and I feel like that sucks bigly and has been an underreported part of this that may be getting more attention during the ceasefire time. Ceasefire still holding shakily. Who knows what the situation is going to be by Wednesday?
It's hard to call it a
releases.
Ceasefire when 44 people have been killed, though, by Israel.
Yeah, it's hard to call it a ceasefire when, like, there are brief pauses.
Yeah.
when like, all of a sudden fire, like, starts again. Mm-hmm. But who am I to say? I'm not some foreign policy expert. But you know who else isn't a foreign policy expert? Donald Trump's son-in-law, Jared Kushner.
Big on this. Big on this.
The Jared Kushner thing is blowing my mind, and I don't have like the knowledge to go deep enough on this right now, but I'm going to start reading because this is what I do know, and the surface that I have scratched is absolutely blowing my fucking mind, right? Jared Kushner comes on the scene. He's like a real estate guy, comes from like a real estate family, private equity, real estate investor, whatever, rich guy stuff.
Yeah.
He gets with Trump's daughter, marries her, Trump's son-in-law, and then all of a sudden, despite having no like foreign policy anything, he's envoy to like Middle East, or he's a Middle East advisor.
Yeah, he does the Abraham Accords, that arguably causes October 7th in the process. Yeah,
he does the Abraham Accords. Trump claims he brings peace to the Middle East. That did not happen. Point blank, that did not happen. Look where we are now. And then he goes and Trump loses. He becomes a private citizen. He works the connections that he gained under the Trump administration with like the Saudi royal family and other people in Qatar and whatnot. And then he buys EA with the Saudi royal family in what's considered like one of the largest private equity deals like ever, if not the largest. He bought EA for $55 billion.
Yeah, and like the Saudis right now are in the process of trying to gain like a greater cultural foothold in the West.
Yeah.
Like that's what they're trying to do at the moment. They did that with the Riyadh Comedy Festival. They're doing it with buying licenses or buying companies like EA. And Jared Kushner apparently is in on it.
And Jared Kushner's like so cool with it. Yeah. And he's received like, he got like $2 billion from the Saudis, like before Trump was elected as well. Like he's doing all this, and now all of a sudden he's like a chief architect in like the Gaza peace plan right now. And he's talking about it literally in terms of it being a real estate deal. Like, I think Jared Kushner's involvement in anything in the Middle East just leads to Dubai 2 in Gaza and not anything that's, like, good for anybody else. Yeah. And it's like, how did this dude, how did he get here?
Yeah, and I think in, like, 21 or 22, he just, like, got $2 billion from the Saudis, like, for fun. Like, they just invested $2 billion into either like his crypto or something like that, some scam.
Dude, it's like,
crazy.
It's Jared Kushner of Arabia. I swear to God, man. Yeah. Like, why? What qualified this guy to like do anything? And now I gotta pretend like he's the fucking white savior that's walking into the Middle East and is gonna unite everybody.
Yeah.
He's clearly doing this to sell off Gaza in real estate deals.
No, 100%. Yeah, he's got money bags in his eyes. Like,
yeah.
He's got the dollar signs in his eyes right now.
And I really want to do some additional reading on like Jared Kushner and how all this happened because it's just like so mind-boggling. What?
Yeah, no, Jared Kushner is fucking insane, but he did bring peace to the Middle East the first time, and then Biden fucked it up.
Biden screwed it up, and now he's back to clean up the mess.
Because as Trump once said about Biden, he's like a Palestinian, but he's a weak one.
Exactly. Precisely.
so that's sort of where we're at, guys. And now we need Jared Kushner of Arabia, Jared of Arabia, to come in and save us.
Man, sick. Shout out white saviors, man. My goodness, they're doing it for completely what's it called? Moral reasons, virtuistic reasons. They're the benevolent white man, Jared Kushner.
he's not in it for himself.
No,
and if you suggest that he is, we're going to deport you.
Ignore his real estate background. Ignore the people that he's in league with.
His low-key failed real estate background.
Yes, he's doing this because it's good.
Yeah.
God.
Anyways, getting into some extras here today. We got a lot to talk about in terms of like random little election news that popped up.
Yeah.
And before we get into the election stuff, I do want to mention there was an incredibly obvious crypto rug pull that happened recently. Did you see this?
No, I didn't.
Well, Trump announced a bajillion% tariff on China.
Crypto
market tanked. But just before that, literally in the 24 hours before that, a new account was opened to trade crypto. They bought a fuck ton of crypto and then sold like a minute before the announcement came out and made like $200 million.
Dog. So that's why we had China tariff?
Yeah. Just so somebody could make a quick bag. And then it was an anonymous account. There's no way to know who did it.
No wonder Trump tweeted out like, guys, don't worry, everything's going to be fine.
Yeah.
Because he knows he's getting rid of the China tariff by November 1st. He's just got to keep it on to like posture.
Yeah, maybe he was making Jared Kushner some money. I don't know. Maybe it all ties together.
Who knows, man?
But I feel like I should mention that because it's just another example of this administration being blatantly corrupt in how they operate.
That's so sick.
But the next person I want to talk about is a Michigan candidate for Senate.
Somebody we might get stuck with.
Yeah, it's Mallory McMorrow. We talk a lot on this podcast about Mallory McMorrow. For one part, because Abdul supremacy.
Abdul better.
And for another part, because it's not worth talking about Haley Stevens.
And she's like, Mallory McMorrow's low-key picking up steam with like Democrats.
She is. And
people are living out for her.
So this is one of these things where she puts out a video. It doesn't like go banana for the purposes of Michigan, I guess. It goes bananas, you know what I mean? And it's on her answering a question about Medicare for All. I think she had a town hall recently. Somebody came out, asked her if she supports Medicare for All. And then she goes into this answer about how she supports universal health care, but not specifically Medicare for All. And she gives like a decent explanation for why private healthcare sucks, right? She talks about how like you can't leave your job because you're relying on that healthcare plan, and also small businesses are disadvantaged because it's hard to afford a healthcare plan for your employees when you're not a mega big corporation. Okay, so she understands the privatized system of care that we have is dog shit.
Yeah,
but then she doesn't want Medicare for All, which leaves like a public option for like her only position that she can have, and she offers an explanation for why she thinks Medicare for All just is a bad idea.
Okay.
And I think we should
take a listen. So this is a scathing takedown of Medicare for All.
A scathing takedown of Medicare for All. Of course, worth mentioning that Abdul runs on Medicare for All explicitly.
Yes,
he wrote a book about Medicare. He wrote the book on Medicare for All. So I think we should take a listen to what Mallory McMorrow has to say, and maybe our minds will be changed.
True. Yeah, it changed my mind. This is principled debate. We're doing politics the right way.
Shout out Ezra Klein.
Now, I said it the way that I said it because some people conflate Medicare for All with universal health care. But Medicare for All, when it's actually defined, is one singular government-run healthcare system that we are all on. Now, I want you to imagine what that would look like with Donald Trump and RFK Jr. at the head of it.
That's it? That's her scathing takedown of Medicare for All?
Her scathing takedown of Medicare for All is essentially, what if the people in charge are bad?
Is this not just when Kamala Harris said, aren't private corporations going to save us?
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's like, I don't know why a public option would be any less susceptible to dismantling by anti-science freaks like RFK than Medicare for All.
Yeah.
Like a public option will get thoroughly dismantled and destroyed by a right-winger if it's put in charge, same as Medicare for All, because that's what right-wingers do to the government. There's no reason to say this other than you are like out to bat for pharma. Like that's the only reason, in the insurance companies and shit, right?
Actually, and then like what happens then? Like when Medicare for All is thoroughly dismantled under RFK and Donald Trump, like what do we go back to? The status quo?
Yeah. Well, and it also sort of just ignores that like other countries have Medicare for All type systems, single payer type systems, and they survive, and those systems survive right-wing governments.
Yeah.
Like I don't know, man. It's just, it feels weird. Yes. And it feels like with everything else that we observe about her campaign, she's trying to triangulate a position between Stevens and Abdul, and it looks scummy.
Guys, I know you want maybe this system, we'll call it Social Security, where perhaps you pay into a system and when you turn 65, you can draw off on it as part of your retirement. But imagine what would happen to that Social Security system if the Republicans were in charge.
No, exactly.
Like, it's like we can't have any good thing because if Republicans get in charge, they'll do bad thing. Are you not just doing government bad?
And it's like the ACA, when people call it Obamacare, like the polling on ACA is sort of like is difficult to pin down because when you call it Obamacare, people think of it differently, whatever. Broadly, the ACA and its provisions are incredibly popular.
Yeah.
And the Republican Party, for the last more than 10 years, has been trying to find a way to dismantle it that isn't political suicide, and they have failed. The ACA continues to exist. I know some shit's been rolled back in the One Big Beautiful Bill, but that's what the current government shutdown fight is about. But, like, I don't know why people don't understand that when you establish something that applies universally to all people, that is so obviously good, that people are in favor of, it's not just like, you can't just snap your fingers and get rid of it.
Yeah.
Like, there's obviously going to be public pushback, public outcry, and it's the job of the liberal or people on the left to defend these systems when they're under attack. Like, if you agree that we need to change something about the way that our healthcare system is privatized, but you just want a public option over Medicare for all, you need to explain why that's better, and you haven't.
And it's also like, I don't know, I feel like when you have the public option and you still have like, I don't know, a robust insurance industry like on the side, it's easier for right-wingers like Donald Trump and RFK to dismantle that public option because there is a fallback.
Yeah.
Like there is private industry that people will be forced into. There's an easy off-ramp. There's an easy funnel. When you go to a Medicare for all system and you have a single payer system, it's just that is insurance, and you're going to have a hell of a time if you want to try and establish anything else.
Yeah.
And so let's do the good thing. I don't know. Like, you know what I mean?
It's just like there is no public program that you could create, healthcare or otherwise, that won't come under attack from right-wingers, because that's what they do. They hate human life, and they want to express that through their politics.
They exist to make government run worse. It's like the job of you to sell your policies and like sell things that are good to the extent to which like they can't do that.
And that's why when she makes this argument about like, well, Medicare for all would be in real trouble if RFK's in charge, it just seems like she's going out to bat for insurance companies.
Yeah, it's like that's why I say it's like a private industry won't save you.
Yeah.
Like
never will.
Insurance companies are what people don't like right now. Like people, we literally shut down the government right down because people are worried about insurance like rates and getting in more in line with like what people pay for private insurance. Because is that not what this would be? Like if ACA subsidies are gone, what would the point of being on the ACA if it becomes more expensive? The point of being on an ACA plan is that it's cheaper. Or you maybe don't have health insurance through your employer, but you're self-employed and you get work other ways, then you qualify for an ACA plan.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know, man. It just kind of seems like everything just defaults to let's just keep doing the same.
And like,
I don't know.
Let's be clear. Like, a public option would be miles ahead of anything that we have right now.
Of course.
Like, I would take a free public option for healthcare over the current system because that would just be leagues better than what we have. It would put us almost in line with other countries of, like, similar stature. It would be fantastic. But in a primary, when we are sort of testing these ideas out, when we're seeing what we want for the general election, I feel like it makes sense to question this stuff. And I just don't understand why you wouldn't go with the boldest position and challenge Republicans to like take on your principles.
But it's like, it's also just like, yeah, well, Medicare for all by definition is this thing where like it's only Medicare for all and there's nothing else. It's like, no, it's not. Medicare for all doesn't exist.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like Medicare for all as it stands for people who are being messaged to is very much just free healthcare.
Yeah.
No, the nitty gritty of the policy details will be worked out on the back end, dog. Like, it's just like,
Well, it's just like the private insurance industry is gone. Like, that's all it is. And like, I don't like legislatively, I haven't looked at like Bernie Sanders' version of it or anything like that.
But like, does that shit even matter?
I would imagine that like there will still be private insurance for some stuff. Like you can get HBO in the hotel or in the hospital room or something.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's just the idea that like the basic necessities of human life at this stage in our sort of civilization development is covered by the federal government. And it's cheaper.
To me, it just seems like a cop-out to say, well, definitionally, I'm going to nitpick what Medicare for all is when there's not even a serious conversation about actually implementing what Medicare for all would look like. Medicare for all functionally is just free healthcare. You talk to fucking anybody on the ground, they'll be like, what is Medicare for all? I don't know, I get Medicare.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, that's kind of where I am about it.
And it's like if this was purely a pragmatic thing, then okay. Like if someone was to ask her like, what do you think we can get done? And her answer was, I think public option is our best bet. Then like, fine, right? Strategically, we could have disagreements, but I would respect that.
It seems like she's just ideologically lived out.
But it seems like principally she's not in favor of Medicare for all. And it's like, if you could have any healthcare system you want, at like the snap of your fingers, the answer should always be the healthcare system that gives it to everybody for free.
Yeah.
Like you shouldn't like be designing a world in your head where private insurance exists whatsoever because like it's just evil. Like there's no reason for it to exist.
Yeah.
The only reason private insurance exists is to fuck us over. That's it.
It's a middleman.
Like I don't know. Again, it seems like there's some sort of financial interest or like political interest behind this that's getting her to like triangulate a position between her two competitors, and it just feels bad.
At least she didn't blame the unions this time like she did last time. Last time she was asked, like, I believe publicly about Medicare for All, and for the sake of the argument podcast, she said, well, actually, like, the unions wouldn't like that. I've talked to union leaders, and they said they don't want it because then they wouldn't have something to negotiate on.
It would actually be easier for unions because then they know they would have healthcare.
And they wouldn't have to negotiate on it. Exactly. They'd take that away from them. So it's like, it's not like unions are like, yeah, we have these great, like they have benefits as a concession. Mm-hmm. So they have to play a game where they balance that concession with other things they want. If you take that away, then they just have it.
Yeah.
And they can go even harder on more wage.
Yeah. So that's a silly, goofy answer, Mallory McMorrow.
Mallory McMorrow. It's ridiculous out here.
We need to talk about another state that's got a Senate race.
Yeah.
And another sort of heated primary.
Yeah.
And that's in the state of Maine. And we got to talk about Graham Platner. Graham Platner has been sort of embroiled in controversy over the past week or so.
Yeah.
And it's interesting.
It is interesting. It's interesting, the controversy, and it's interesting, the response.
The context is that Janet Mills, as predicted here on this show a couple of weeks ago, the 77-year-old incumbent governor of Maine, Democrat, has jumped in the primary against sort of left-wing populist candidate Graham Platner, 40-something-year-old Graham Platner.
Why are we nominating 77-year-olds for a 6-year term?
Yeah, no. She said she would only serve one term, by the way. And it's like, that's an admission that, like, you shouldn't be doing it at all.
Exactly. That's an admission you shouldn't be doing it at all, and that, like, maybe you can't. Like, like you approach, like, 83 by the end of your first term.
Yeah.
To be a 2-term senator, you'd be 89 by the end of that. That's unforgivable, man.
Yeah, no, like, that's just too much. It's too much. So that's the sort of context here, is that Janet Mills, as we said, has jumped in, immediately got Chuck Schumer's endorsement, immediately got the DSCC endorsement. She is the establishment pick.
Which is insane.
Yeah.
By the way, like Graham Platner, for all the things we'll talk about going on, has been in this race for a while.
A couple months.
No endorsement, no nothing from these guys. Zoran Mamdani, on the other hand, no endorsement from Chuck Schumer, no endorsement from Keem
And
Jeffries.
he won the primary.
Yeah. He is the Democrat nominee. And then all of a sudden, like she hops in there and they get involved in an open primary.
Yeah. It's an open primary. It's the primary is probably like more than 6 months away at this point, and Chuck Schumer's already endorsed.
It's never been more blatant how much like Democrat leadership and the people that run like the DCCC do not like progressives, do not fuck with anything going on with them, and just want to continue the status quo that everyone hates. Their approval is in the shitter because of these kind of things right now.
Yeah.
It is so blatantly obvious how they step in and, like, I don't know, tip the scales.
Yeah, no, they and like we can be clear about it. Their donors just do not fuck with people that would threaten the status quo economically. That's literally all it is. And maybe it has to do with like the pro-Israel stuff too.
Yeah.
Or anti-Israel if we're talking about like Zoran or Graham Platner or something like that. But so that's the context. Janet Mills hops in the race. And then there's this massive leak of a bunch of old Reddit comments from Graham Platner. Now, Graham Platner's like 40-something years old, I believe. He served in the military. He's been very open about how like conservative military culture is. And there's a lot of comments from like 2011, 2013 that genuinely are awful.
Yeah, no, they're unhinged. They're like inexcusable.
Yeah, they're inexcusable. They're bad. The comments about like sexual assault in the military and stuff like that. Like, it's just bad.
Yes.
And he came out with a video to his credit and said, I condemn all of this. I made those comments when I was like severely mentally ill. I shouldn't have, and I regret it now. And then there was also comments from like 2021 where he said ACAB, and those are sort of being compared with the older comments, and it's like, well,
as if they're the same thing.
As if they're the same thing. It's like, well, he was kind of cooking when he said ACAB.
Exactly.
Wasn't cooking when he said the other stuff. Anyways, that's the context for all of this. And the thing that I've been thinking about is like, I don't understand why people are so determined to make up their mind about Graham Platner in this Maine Senate race.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, we can condemn those comments from like 2013 on Reddit or whatever it was, and he should be continuously asked about them to make sure that like he doesn't still believe this stuff. And that's totally fair to be concerned about, to be worried about. At the same time, Chuck Schumer and the establishment should not have endorsed a 77-year-old incumbent Democrat for this seat.
Insane.
That's psychotic.
Yeah.
That like I don't know why people are so eager to like make a decision now when the primary process is going to play out, when it's like so clear what the establishment is doing here. It's just bizarre to me.
It is bizarre. I guess like the thing for me that I like wonder about too, because it's like obviously we've talked about this podcast many times about how like people who have done stuff like that, they go and they change and they make a change for the better, and that's good, and that should be what we want like as people. Like obviously there are people, you need to meet them where they're at sometimes, and you work to attempt to change them to make the world better. Yeah. And that could be what the situation is with Graham. Shit, look, I'm a white guy. Like I'm not going to tell you that you need to necessarily drop all your apprehension about this guy just because he made a YouTuber apology video. Yeah. But I just like wonder what gets it for me is it's like, did he just come on the scene to run for the Senate?
He says that he served in the military. He was in Afghanistan or the Middle East for a while. And then see, the more concerning thing about Graham Platner to me isn't the comments from like Reddit in 2013, because it's like Reddit 2013, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
The more concerning thing is that like he was a Blackwater mercenary for like a year or two.
That is crazy.
And he chose to go back to Afghanistan and work for the Blackwater company for a little while there.
The bad one, like the worst one.
I think until 2018. And then that's when he said he became more left wing and, started going to therapy and shit like that.
Like, is he was it not to like fucking, I don't know, purity organizer test, but like was he doing anything before the Senate race?
I think he was like an oyster farmer.
He was just like a dude, and then he's just like, okay, running for the Senate. Mm-hmm. That's so interesting.
Yeah.
And it's like, that's where I think there is credence to the people who are like, maybe he didn't change, maybe he's just grifting or whatever. Because it's like, I guess if you don't have like a record of doing other things, but it's like, you can also watch through those Reddit threads or Reddit comments that he has kind of changed in his politics. Yeah. I don't know. It's a fucky situation. And like you said, you don't need to make your mind up about it right now.
Yeah, no, you don't need to. You can be hesitant about someone like Platner. In fact, I think the left should be, given what happened to fucking John Fetterman.
Exactly.
That dude was supposed to be at least a progressive, and then he clearly is not. He's just been, he's Joe Manchin at this point.
Yeah.
So yeah, you should be apprehensive when you see something like this. I think it's totally valid to continue asking questions and to not put your full support behind him right now, especially if you're like a main voter. But again, the fact that the Democrats, the establishment Democrats, Chuck Schumer, decided to meddle in this race already is disqualifying for someone like Janet Mills. Like, what the fuck are we doing?
Well, because it's like, it's also crazy, like, all of a sudden this information comes out right after she announces her to run, right after she gets the endorsements. Like, yeah, no, they definitely like coordinated this to like do that. And it's just like, I think the other aspect of this, if you're getting a little cheeky about this, is it's like, if this is like a guy from the military engaged in edgy military culture, did all that stuff and made the change, is that not like the voter that Democrats have been trying to reach out to since the election? Like, is that kind of not this key constituency that they're talking about losing?
Yeah, no, the Democrats have been saying for months, like, how do we win back the edgy young white dudes that we lost? And it's like, when it comes to a guy like Graham Platner, that's as good as it's going to get.
Exactly. Like you put in front of them like an edgy white dude who was doing all that stuff and showed that he could change possibly. Like, the jury's still out. Yeah. Like, the jury hasn't come back on that one yet. But like, that's kind of like assuming that everything is I don't know, right, holy, and just with the world as it is right now. And Graham Platner did make that change, and he has done the work. He has undone those biases. He has done whatever he wants. And is like, low-key chill now. Mm-hmm. That's what you want. Like, that's the kind of voter that you should be aiming for right now.
No, and that's what I'm saying. Like, that's as good as it's going to get if you want to get, like, the edgelord shit posters back on your side.
Yeah.
Because, like, the truth is that the vast majority of people have not been training since they were, like, 7 years old to run for office, like Newsom and Buttigieg or whatever. Like, most people have a history of being kind of a shitty person because that's just life.
And there's a lot of people that are really not woke before they get woke.
Yeah.
Not everyone is, like, morally lucky enough to, like, get there.
And this isn't me saying that, like, you need to forgive Graham Platner, whatever the fuck that would be.
No, of course.
You need to be cool with him. Like, I'm just saying, like, do apologies matter or not? Yeah. Right? Like, do we think people can change? And if we do, then the question shouldn't be necessarily about those comments, but if he's actually fit to be in office, given what we know about him, given his history, given what he says now. And I don't know, man. I feel like people are so eager to make a determination about this race, and it's kind of silly. Mm-hmm. It just doesn't make much sense to me. And again, I think it's just like, with a guy like Platner, if Democrats want the edgelords, this is what it's going to look like.
And it's also like, if we're talking about like appealing to Republicans, like Democrats love to do. They love to think that they can poach the Republican vote. Is a guy who, like, I guess has that background not kind of like how you get there? Mm-hmm. Because so many Republicans will vote Republican, or I guess young ones, because they think the Democrats are like lame, purity testy woke scolds. And I mean, you get a guy like this to go out there and supposedly, in earnest, condemn like past behavior and be like, yeah, it's not like that. I'm like low-key chill now. Isn't that how you get those guys back?
You would think so.
You would think. I don't know. I'm speculating.
It feels like this would be the kind of guy they're looking for. But again, when they say, how do we win back young white men, it's never about like how we can actually endear these voters to the Democratic Party. It's how can we get young dudes to fuck with the abundance agenda. That's always what it is. Because like dudes like Graham Platner, straight up, they don't. Like he seems to be, from as far as we can tell, a sort of left-wing economic populist. And that's not what the party wants to be. That's not what Schumer wants the party to be. It's not what the party establishment wants to be. And so when they see a guy like this, they're going to reject him, even though he fits the bill for like everything they've been trying to do for the last year.
Yeah.
So I don't know, man. It's fucking dumb.
Yeah, jury's still out on that one. I low-key feel vindicated in us kind of forgetting about that race from now on and not like being like full-throated planner heads like we have been with Zoran. That's kind of nice for a moment like this, but like...
Yeah, no, I've been worried about getting Fetterman. And and truthfully, like the Blackwater stuff is worrying to me.
Oh, yeah.
Because it's like who chooses...
I mean, the comments can be worrying as well.
Because, the comments can be worrying, but like... I think most people probably have shit like that.
Yeah, no, for sure. A lot of regular voters,
Yeah.
I don't think are going to give a shit about that.
Yeah.
And I mean, it kind of comes to the young Republican thing, too. The young Republican thing, obviously vile, too, but I still think regular voters aren't really going to give a shit about a group chat. And I think J.D. Vance knew what he was doing when he said college kids in a college group chat.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people said crazy shit when they were in college, probably, and are like, oh, yeah, whatever, like, blah, 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 they're just joking. You get so far by just saying, I was just joking.
Yeah.
So there's that aspect to it. It's just like... Everything's fucked.
Yeah, and interestingly, the mainstream media reported this as like a spiral or a crash, and that seems kind of weird to me too, because like he posted his apology video, and like that's kind of it.
Yeah, and it's like honestly, I saw the apology video before I saw any of the actual like reporting on it. So it's like I wonder what's getting more traction.
Yeah.
I wonder what has more grassroots support. But I think I was listening to Majority Report on the way up here today talking about the Zoran debate. And they were saying that some outlets were reporting that Zoran had a crash in polling when it was like he went from 90% to 88.
Yeah, no, the mainstream outlets are just doing their thing, man.
So it's like, I don't know, man. It seems like everything is just geared up to attack any sort of left-wing populist or progressive in any way possible, whether it's just or unjust.
Yeah, no, if a leak like this ever happens to Abdul, I'm crashing out.
Oh my God, it'd be personally over. Like I don't know what I'd do. We've full-throated support to Abdul right here.
No, we've dedicated so much airtime to supporting Abdul. I don't think that'll happen to a guy like Abdul. Abdul seems to just have like a squeaky clean track record, but who knows?
Abdul seems to be like, I don't know, like the GOAT, like doctor, went to med school, Wayne County Health Public Commissioner. Like, what can I say?
He seems to be the most electable candidate in this primary.
Huge
I don't know,
on that. He seems to be like, I don't know, the perfect guy and that you should give money to and donate and volunteer for and vote for if you live in Michigan.
Big on this. The last thing is a Zoran debate.
Yeah, Zoran debate was just funny. I don't have much to say about it. He's got to win.
You got to win.
Like he's up like double digits in like so many polls. Like he's doing so well. He's getting all the attention. He seems to be doing like all the right things when it comes to campaigning. And even when it comes to like a lot of these answers, right? Like Cuomo just comes off like a dickhead.
Oh yeah.
Which like shit, maybe in New York they fuck with that. But it's like Zoran gives a human answer to a question. He's relatable. He's funny. Good-looking, handsome young man.
Oh my God.
And then Cuomo comes in here and he's like, actually, Zoran sucks. Beefing with internet celebrity. He didn't condemn Hamas. He didn't condemn Hassan Piker.
Yeah, the Hassan Piker name drop is fantastic.
And then he just says other things that he's either trying to copy Zoran, say the most poll-tested thing possible, or like throw some vicious attack at Zoran, whether it be anti-Islamophobic or not.
Yeah, no, again, you cannot be beefing on the debate stage with an internet personality, man. Like, you can't do it.
Like, I get that it's New York. I get that it's new woke city. But, like, most people in New York probably don't know who Hassan is. I'm sorry. Like, it's just, he's the biggest guy on the online progressive left, but it's not a big pond, man.
Well, and, like, what Cuomo's trying to do is connect Zoran to comments Hassan made, like, what, 5 years ago or
then
some
Zoran
shit
just said, yeah, I condemn that.
And it's just, like, nobody knows what you're talking about. It sounds like you're a babbling old man, which, like, yeah.
The layers are just, like, too deep to communicate in, like, I don't know, a gubernatorial debate stage, man. It sucks. But then my guy Curtis.
Dude, he was the highlight.
He's so cool, actually.
I think other people have already said this, but like I think every debate should just include Curtis Sliwa.
Yeah.
Even if he's not running for that office, he should be in the middle.
Because it's like, God, they asked the question about pot. They asked the question like, have you ever gone to a dispensary and like smoked? And Zoran giggles and says, haha, as if he did just before this.
Yeah.
Andrew Cuomo says no, which is like, okay, who is that endearing you to? And then Curtis Sliwa goes, I was shot 5 times and I have Crohn's disease.
Dude, he's so
Like,
funny.
That's so sick, actually. Like, I want him to be like a figure in politics with no power. With no power, because he's low-key not good at that. Doesn't have good opinions when it comes to that.
Well, it's like we say with Trump. Like, if we just gave him the unplugged controller, he'd cause no harm, but be really funny.
Exactly. If you put him on the red carpet.
Yeah.
If we just did interviews with Curtis Sewa, we get a lot of good material, man. There was another question that I saw that wasn't like the super mega viral ones, where they were asking the candidates like how they get around New York City. I didn't even fucking bother with the Zoran or Cuomo answers, but Curtis said, I would take the yellow taxis, or I used to take the yellow taxis, but in the 80s, I got in a yellow taxi and I was shot. And it's like, oh my God.
This dude is living through a war in New York City. That's crazy, man. No, my favorite clip had to be the parades one, dude. That was
the parades
so
one is legalized
funny.
parades. All parades matter.
No, he said all parades have a right to exist.
He actually said that?
Curtis Lewa said that. Yeah. Like Zoran, they asked Cuomo, what parades would you go to? Cuomo lists a couple. Zoran says, I'm going to be the mayor. I'm not going to go to parades. I don't care.
Yeah.
And then Sliwa says, every parade has a right to exist.
Dude, he's such a guy.
Yeah,
like he's such
awesome.
a guy. He like represents a key constituency of Americans. I fear.
I feel like him and Eric Adams could go bar for bar with each
Oh
other,
my God! Yeah, where's that?
Him and Eric Adams could go like anecdote for anecdote.
I wonder if there were any bangers back, because he runs for mayor every time, doesn't he?
Sliwa?
Yeah,
Probably.
Like, isn't he just like a fixture in losing New York elections?
Yeah, but he's awesome though.
No, but it's so sick. I wonder if there were bangers from the previous debates.
Yeah, I don't know, man.
But I was shot 5 times and have Crohn's disease is going to live in my head for so long. It's so good, man.
Critical support to Curtis Sliwa. Shout out Zoran Mamdani. It seems like he's going to clinch this dub in like, 2 weeks or something like that?
Yeah, government-owned grocery store in 2 weeks. Free and fair bus in 2 weeks. Everything's going to happen.
The Communist Republic of New York in 2 weeks.
Yes.
Light work for a guy like Zoran Mamdani. So fucking shout out New Yorkers.
Yeah. Oh, I did also hear that like the first 20, like a large section of the debate was like foreign policy. Which is like,
what?
Wait, 'cause I was listening to the majority report on the way up, and Emma was like, yeah, it was like foreign policy, and they got into the economy like way later. And it's like, huh?
It's Israel?
Israel, obviously.
Dude,
like,
come
how?
on.
Who is choosing to make this about that?
It's got to be like a donor or whoever like owns the news network they did it on, right? Like that's got to be it.
I don't know, but like genuinely, like, why?
Because like no journalist or like debate host in their right mind would design questions like that to start off with.
Or are they? Because they think that's just, or they're just like click minded. Like they're like, oh, this is the part that's going to get clicked.
Well, was it as egregious as last time?
I don't know.
Like,
I didn't watch. I was just listening to
Okay.
Emma talk about it. And Emma was like, yeah, they were talking about foreign policy. And I was like, why? Why? That's what
crazy.
I checked out, because it's just like, it's so absurd to focus a mayoral race on foreign policy.
Yeah, it had to have been either the Israel thing or like, Zoran, you're a Ugandan Muslim. Are you going to destroy the city? Because like that's, and I'm not even like exaggerating. That's what people talk like. Shout out to Charlie Kirk, rest in peace, King.
Well, that's representing the median voter.
Yeah, I'll remind people, Charlie Kirk, rest in peace, King. I condemn political violence. He said that he compared Zoran Mamdani's victory to 9/11.
Oh my God! Yeah, he did.
So did Laura Loomer. Yeah, said something
Laura.
like, "We said we'd never forget, and here we just elected a Muslim in New York City."
Shout out Laura, she Lumen.
Oh my, Laura's always Lumen.
Shout out Laura, she Lumen, right around the corner. I wonder what vile horrors are going to come out of her mouth when he wins.
Man, she keeps putting up bangers. I don't know. She's also obsessed with Hassan. But it's a little more reasonable for her because, like, that's what she does.
That's true. Yeah, she is.
That's
an
her
internet
lane.
person. Like,
Stick to your niche.
She's not supposed to be in government. She's supposed to be on the internet.
Yeah.
Once again, these things, they're not supposed to like cross.
Yeah,
Laura
Loomer might be like most vindicated right wing lady ever.
Yeah,
like she's been consistent for years and years and years since like before 2020. She's been consistent, and she was an outcast at first, and now the party's moved to her. And now she's sort of like the centerpiece of it all, for Trump at least.
That sucks so bad.
Yeah.
When are my Democrats going to do that? Not move to the right, which is what they want to do, but like move towards me.
Yeah. When's the party going to come and surround me and then like prop me up?
And then I'm an advisor all of a sudden.
Yeah. I'm an advisor to the AOC administration.
Exactly. And I'm flying on Air Force One and I'm going to places all around. And then all of a sudden I've got connections to the Saudi royal family. And then I buy EA because I like pecs.
and I'm going to fix the matchmaking. God damn it.
Exactly. I'm going to finally nail down the ranked system and it's not going to change again. happen.
By hook or by crook, man, I'm going to make it happen.
Exactly.
Anyways, that brings us to the end of this beautiful, wonderful, glorious episode.
That does bring us to our Spotify reviews.
Oh, beautiful reviews.
Beautiful Spotify reviews before our patrons, starting with Cadaver. 100 out of 5 government compliance stars. Huge. Another great episode and always great hearing truly nonpartisan fact-checking. Also, it looked like Booker did his photo op a month before it was declared international starvation. And gotta love that the vice president apparently draws the line for mainly males as young kids. Barely an adult is at the oldest 5 years younger than he is. As always, I condemn all forms of political violence and Hamas.
Huge on this Cadaver. This next one from That One Bench, 10 out of 10 stars. I listened to this podcast during my shift in the hospital, and I am truly surrounded by the consequences of the government around me. And you guys articulate the scene of the world so well, and I recommend this podcast to everyone I know. Smiley face.
Huge. This one from Jesse Romero Soto. 10,000 out of 10 stars. These guys definitely know what's up, and they remind me regularly to condemn political violence and Hamas, of course. Look, fellas, I'm asking for a little lip service. As a 3-year self-certified hito head, I'm part of a casino dealer body striking our casino just south of Indianapolis. We have made headlines and are now on day 3 as I'm listening to my daily gospel on the picket line. We'd greatly appreciate a shout out for the help our union gets to get the recognition it deserves. Shout out the strike. I hope you guys get literally everything you demand.
Real. Hit us up in the fucking DMs, or if you're on Patreon or something like that.
Yeah, low key. If there's some like news articles about that, we might talk about that next time we're back, which would be next Monday.
Week from today.
Yes.
Next one from Noah Carricker, 100 out of 5 stars. As an Alaska leftist, I found myself feeling incredibly hopeless and lost with the current state of American politics. That was until I came across the Hito podcast. Now, after 3 months of listening and being dutifully informed that good things are good and bad things are bad, I am proud to call myself a Hito head. Last but not least, the acronym for I condemn Hamas and all forms of political violence, as well as my senators Dan Sullivan and Lisa Murkowski, who I am sure will be deeply concerned to hear this. So true. She'll be agonized, in fact.
Truly.
That's the word she used.
This next one doesn't have any stars on it, but I'm going to read it anyway because there's an important piece of information here from Benjamin Dearden. To my dearest non-parasocial friends, Jeremy and Gage, I've been absolutely blessed by the Spotify algorithm to hear the most soothing words of affirmation from the Midwest's finest NSPM7 compliant white boys, always delivering to my hungry ears the correct political takes and readying me for the inevitable discussions with my MAGA-adjacent non-voting dad. The woke mind virus has compelled me to become a patron and urge all listeners to join me as we condemn Hamas and all political violence. I condemn the lack of a 5 out of 5 stars in the beginning or end of that review, but I condone the other parts so much so that here you are.
Yeah. And also, if you're leaving a 5-star review, make sure you actually leave the 5 stars.
Or I'll be really upset and
in the Spotify app or website or whatever.
And I'll know.
Use. Last one from Taylor, 1,000 out of 5 stars. The best podcast in the industry, Cat in the Office, is an immaculate cast, perfectly balancing insightful political commentary with boyish banter. And it was PURR fakely. So there's a little joke there. And I will say, anybody that's been leaving reviews on Apple or on Spotify,
Fed's watching.
If we've been habitually not reading them, it's because Fed's watching. So like, don't try to get us.
I gotta protect my little self.
We do gotta. Protect ourselves.
Protect my NSPM7 compliant status.
We do have to just ignore some of them sometimes, and you know who you are.
Exactly.
So Fed's watching. Fed's watching you. Fed's watching us. So
huge on Fed's watching us specifically.
Yeah. So that brings us to the very end of the ep, and now we got to thank our patrons.
So we got to thank the people we're watching and thanking and grateful for immensely, starting with Caden Kraut, Chris the Postman, Christy Beck, Mike Chaplinsky, Clayton LaFed, Mark Yeager, Caleb Joy, Rich Taro, Tari Fergalaki, Max Vesquez, Jacob Rogers, Cole Newberry, Fixer Punk, Jim Egbers, Big Burrito, Cincy Elks, Joe Centrum, Adrian Sandoval, Chloe Sam 601, Colleen Kutch, Jennifer DeVoe, Crawfish, and Bennett Bennington III, Alexi Benanti, Big Booty Beatdown, Sam Maloney, Ted Cruz's Boy Toy, Dictator Jace, Luke O'Shea, Cocker Tarleson, Danielle Jackson, The Word of Microsoft, Jennifer Science, Aaron has Gundam Gundams, Darth Father, Tailored for Content, Curry Chambers, Retro Mondo, Veronica, aka V, Raxon, Ash Smith, The Growler, Murder in a Trench Coat, Casey Lynn Kelly, AK Gon, Iguana Don, Zach Lantian, Austin Greif, Marcus Corbett, Caleb Roper, Taylor Rensott, Cammy, Tylen Freeman, Isaac Hodges, Madeline C, Anna Valinik, KCC, Say Yes to Wes, August, Particular Pikmin, Sir Capilot, Jeff Sines, Brendan's Egg, Froggy Gumdrop, Jackie Boy, Shameless, Coherent Babbles, MJ is Sharp, Michaela Mency, The Wallace 3000,
Chris T, Kashan Lala, Amanda R, Tyler J, Particulon, Memfrez, Ron Stiletto, Midwest Marxist, Joe the Mailman, Gary from West Michigan, Shawnee GG, Juniper Not Jupiter, Stacked Crabs, I Crowley, Urban Peach, Lord of Forlorn, Holt Forsyth, Booty Snakes, Dew Fairy, Chelceratops, Austin Lima, Lane Waltz, Azim Pid Hussein, Gorgeous Girl Mukes, Brooklyn G, Noverk the Dastardly, Goldthorn, Eddie Book, Merlin, Cryobangi, Sergeant Pookie, Hoodie, Kim Kitsuragi, Rose Grimm, Kristen, Jamie the Young Extremist, Jack the Heathen, Archer W, Evan Mingo, AJ Torres, Elo Nico, Jake Hall, Seth Schmidt, Noah Sajas, Majawat, Ultra the Dragon, Mercy Boku, Dick Cheney and 6-Inch Heels, Luke Wechter, Henry Kraggles, Tristan Ringsmith, Yaya, Asura the Atheist, Aiden Reese, Deep State Agent, Puddle Pirate, Southern Lefty, Lark61, KC, Cannon Man, Troy H, Rock Muffalo, Nahan San Diego, Nutmode, Nick from New Haven, Connor Nick, Sound Logic, Sleven, I Have Never Made a Woman Orgasm, John from Houston, Jordino, Haley Weibold, Pablo Vasquez, Nurse Jen, Soul DJ, Maple Big Dog, CIA, Small Creators Fun, Taylor from Burnt Down Minneapolis, Northeast Nick, and my mom. Thank you all so much for supporting the show on Patreon. If we missed you on this list, you have to tell us.
You have to tell us, please.
You just have to.
Please don't forget.
And if you want your name on this list, become a patron.
You know exactly what to do.
We love you, and we'll see you next time.
Have a great week.